What up, YouTube? uh, Video response from Mr. Wilkie and his Friends subcontest deal. Uh, First off, watching Denny's Islanders against Susie's Bruins. So far, a good game. About 2 minutes left in the first period. DiPietro's looked adequate. But anyway, I digress. Um, Says, talk about one close personal friend in real life, like in your actual everyday uh, life, work, whatnot, and then talk about one friend from YouTube that you think is special, not including yourself. So first, I guess I'll start with the real friend at work, John. Oj would be the one that I guess since we have a trillion things in common, most of which are being, I don't know, doing hard work or doing the work that you're required at the job, but yet having fun and being incredibly pissed off when the rest of the team doesn't do shit. We get very wound up over that. And that just pushes each other harder to do more work and get stuff done and constantly pick up for the slacking of the yokels that continue to litter the store. But MMA, we started watching that together, I think, September '03. He was in September, I was in October '03. That we started watching the UFC. He had watched a couple of the early ones, way back when, and then for a time there, again, it was UFC was pretty much glorified. What they have, the Tough Man competitions on FX. It's basically a glorified version of that. Then they came in the Fertitas and everybody, and Dana White, and actually set up a system or a rule system. Or Shamrock might have been in there too, or I don't know. There's a bunch of people that were in that made it so it wasn't just a bunch of drunken haggards fighting bare knuckles and whatnot. But anyway, started watching that. What would it have been? It would have been Tito and Kenny Shams. But before that, it was wrestling when TNA started. Total Nonstop Action, 2002, I believe. Ely went from a switch over from whatever we had before for cable. It was like the Universal system. Some folks had the dish, then it wasn't as popular as it is now. It was gaining popularity. But then they went to these refurbished cable boxes in September. We jumped to DirecTV at my mom's. I want to say he still had the cable box. But that June when it started up, nobody had. Even Dish or Direct had it, Dish didn't. And went to a buddy's. That's where I got to know him because he worked at the cemetery with a few of my other friends. And got to meet him that way through wrestling, talking. He collects, he collects a lot of the UFC stuff now. He buys a ton of that. Any UFC product that drops. I got him hooked on the Leaf. Even hooked up him with some more of the set because he does a lot of the set. What he does is put together the base set and whatnot. And Brian Gray from Leaf, I emailed him just saying, hey, he bought, I don't know, 6 boxes of stuff, couldn't put together a full, just regular set. Threw out some numbers, I think it was 12 cards he needed, and Brian was gracious enough to send him that. And I mean, he was happy with that. That's what he wants. I mean, he wants the big hits, but he also wants to put together that set. So, I mean, he's got the collectability thing that we can go back and forth on because he collects comics. He's got literally like a Jay and Silent Bob type Kevin Smith collection with all the variants and all that, and the black and white and hand drawn shit and whatever the fancy stuff there is. Several different the runs that I don't know exactly all of what he's got, but I mean it's comparable more so on the the north end of my Josh Johnson stuff, where I mean he's got a shit ton, a literal shit ton of stuff. So I mean we got that to talk about. The wrestling figures, I collect some, but he's got like the action figures, some of the rarer like McFarlane's from Spawn and all that stuff. The wrestling we talk about, and so I mean that's somebody I talk to all the time. Not a lot about real life problems, but more or less just like the interests that we have, the wrestling, the UFC, MMA stuff. We talk about Bellator all the time, all the stuff, and it helps pass work time as well. Where again, if you're busting balls, that if you got something in common with somebody, you can at least make that time go a lot quicker. So that'd be him, and then wrestling will be hitting up Minneapolis March 23rd to go to the Jerry Lynn retirement show, front row seats. Bought a couple tickets, so that'll be the birthday present for him. YouTuber, that's special. I mean, there's a lot of special people on here in more than one sense, but I don't know. I've gotten in the rut of not talking or texting with anyone. Tom, Hudson Fan 15 once in a while I'll text. Danny I'll contact a lot through Facebook. Now that hockey's going, I've been hitting him up more with the Islanders since Center Ice and the site where I watch the hockey on. Stoked for that, so I'll hit him up. Vintage, every once in a while I'll hit him up. I'm seriously, I haven't talked to really anybody on YouTube via text other than just saying a thank you for anything they sent, or just hey, letting them know, hey, something's on the way. And God, I don't know how long. Like the last time I think I did text with somebody for more than a couple texts was either Tom in August, or maybe I don't know if I hit Steve up when he was in the process of moving, getting the stuff done with the house, or the Broncos 79. So I don't know. That's the one thing where I'm failing at, and I admit that wholeheartedly. The Pistons fan, Elon, I rarely text him anymore, and I've known him for eons. Scott, haven't texted him at all. God, there's so many people that you don't fall out of contact with, but I don't know. At some point I'll get back going at that. I'm such a dick with that stuff, and I admit that football's usually the time when I will text. Football season, just because again you got games going on, you can have some banter going back and forth, but nobody's really a basketball fan here that I text with, or they're not a huge one where they live and die. And I don't care about the NBA, hockey. I can see more because I love the Oilers, but that's the thing. I can honestly say that I haven't done as good of a job as I would like with texting people, keeping in contact, shooting out a call every now and then. I try to let people know what's going on, but I don't know. It's always a thing of out of sight, out of mind, but that's not what a good friend does, so I'll take responsibility for that. So yeah, again, the people I mentioned that I didn't text, keep in contact with, those would be some of the folks I like to keep in contact. Josh, but just Josh Toudier, bonded with him over the last few months. Just because he seems to be of the ilk that, I mean, if we went out to like a mall we could be stupid in front of people, and I mean, they'd either be repulsed and try to run into the plexiglass window doors, or join us for a flash mob of stupidity and get a kick out of it. Maybe we could go on YouTube and be viral, and who knows. But yeah, that'd be mine. I'd love to return it back. I've told this to many people. I'd love it to return back to the 2010, the summer, like before Naomi was born. I'll go back to that over and over again. They always say never live in the past. I don't let the past dictate the future. But at the same time, it's like, man, that was a great summer. I'd love to return to that. Don't know if it ever will. That's what I'd like. So again, Michael, I got your message back, and hope this is the fulfillment of the contest. And I'm in the same boat as Tom. I I thought of this right when I was watching the video, and then he stole my lines. He made the video before me, so I can't blame anyone again but myself. But contest, don't even worry about it. Uh, Same way, PC only, players, and set wise, I don't do anything unless it's a player, and I try to put together a rainbow or just hoard as many as I can. That's it. That's all. Let somebody else more deserving get the set prizes. And anyway, that they'll be more happy with them. Not that I want to be happy. It's just not in my very narrow collecting broad spectrum, or broad collecting spectrum. That's it. That's all. Hope this again is your contest. I'm here to support you. Positivity, no matter what, no matter who we like, no matter who we're friends with. We're here for 95% the same reason. Cards, make new connections. That's it, and that's all. Traces.